Hey guys, you ever tried fly fishing? And today we're going to be tying a variation on Borski's Butterfly. I'm going to tie this bend back style, which I think just adds another cool element to this fly. Makes it really weedless, and we're going to get started right now. So in the vise today, I have an Ahrex SA250 in size 2. You can definitely vary the size on this. This is a brand new hook from Ahrex, and it's very cool, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm going to start this by laying down some lead to keel this fly. It should ride hook point up whether you add the lead or not. This is just going to help it track a little better in my opinion. I'm just going to break that off and start covering this up with thread wraps once I get a good base here. So make sure guys you comment at the end of this video. We're going to be giving this fly away. Comment with what you think of the fly or what you want us to tie next, and we'll pick somebody from the comments to win this fly. So I've 220 Denier Danville in fluorescent shrimp pink, and this is going to create my underbody. So I'm just going to cover this up. You're not really going to see this, but I do want to make sure that I just get my lead fully covered here. So I'm just going to create basic underbody. I'm going to throw a quick whip finish over this. And then I'm going to actually coat this with UV fly finish, and I have Loon in thick. This is just for me, for durability. It's going to change the color of the thread just a little bit, but that's fine by me. And I'm not really hugely concerned with how this looks, because it's mostly going to be covered. And I just want to give the illusion of a little bit of color under here. And with the fly finish, just add some durability. And I missed a spot underneath. I'll cover that up. And like I said, this isn't really critical that you get all your wraps, lead wraps covered. You can see mine's pretty messy. Okie doke. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some craft fur. You can also use polar fiber. I have it in a cream. I'm going to grab a pretty good sized chunk. I'm going to try and get this as close to the hide as I can when I cut it off, because this is going to be a longer fly. This fly is cool because you can tie it in different sizes. I think originally it was tied large for bonefish standards as a low light fly, but this size here, I mean, you could fish it for bass, you could fish it for snook, you could fish it for reds. Really just vary up the colors and the size to suit your needs. So I'm just going to take a measurement, and I've stripped out most of the short fibers here, so I really just have just the long stuff. And I want this to extend, I mean, pretty much as long as I can get my craft fur on this size hook, but it should be 1.5 to 2 times the hook length. So I'm just going to tie this in right on top. Clean up my butt so I get a nice clean tie-in point. Bring my thread up. Just do a pinch wrap, keep that right on top, cover those up. And I lost a little bit, but that's fine. So the next thing I'm going to do here is add some colorations, and I have just a brown marker with a chisel tip, and I like these chisel tips. You get a nice wide band, and these don't have to be perfect. And one more. Okay, next I'm going to grab a black marker and just add a band of black right in the middle of this brown. This is really going to give it some contrast here. Perfect, good enough. That looks pretty good to me. Alright, so my next material is going to be some just brown hackle. Just prep this by stripping out kind of the butts that I don't need, the really fluffy stuff. So just going to tie this in with a concave side facing away from me, just like you'd tie in a dry fly hackle. I'm going to leave this in right here just in case I need to adjust this feather. Oops, I got to cut my craft first. So I'm just going to stroke this back like you would wrap a soft tackle. Just create my collar. I want a pretty thick collar here, so I'm trying to get touching turns, stroking these fibers back as I go. Pretty much the webbier feather you can get, the better. Pause, check that out, see how it looks. That looks pretty good to me. I'm going to tie this off. Just sneak that in there. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Create a little tiny head here. I might wrap back a little bit, cover up, make sure those are pushed back. Yeah, it looks perfect to me. The next thing I'm going to do is tie a weed guard in. The original pattern uses black thread for this on the head. I don't want to switch threads, so I'm just going to cover it with this black marker that I already have here. It's kind of a little cheat. So I've prepped this mono by sticking it in my vise and crushing it to create a flat delta as a tie-in. So that's going to make sure that that doesn't slip out on me. So like I said, I'm just going to color this thread up and create a black head. That way I don't have to switch threads. Feel free to change out your thread if you like. This is just for tying efficiency for me. Okay. So how I'm going to tie this in is I'm going to tie it in on the side here and then move it to where I need it. I find that easier for me. Throw a couple tight wraps, and then I'm going to throw some wraps underneath here and pull this back. The great thing about this weed guard is that it's more or less hidden under or in my wing. So I'm going to whip finish over this. Color up my thread. And then I'm going to really secure this all down with UV Cure epoxy. So just going to come in here, make sure I get this under and around, and then I'll adjust things when I'm ready to hit this with my light. Alright, let that settle. So I want that up at that angle, so I'm just going to hold it real quick, hit it with the light, and then I'm going to trim this to length. So for a length here, I want it to extend a tiny bit beyond my hook point. So right there. That's it. That's pretty good. That's the Borski Butterfly variation. Cool fly. Give it a try. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified of all of our future fly tying videos, and we'll see you next time.